Stopping panic attacks doesn't require drugs like Xanax and Klonopin, panic support classes, or counseling. You don't have to suffer from panic attacks anymore. In the next few minutes, I'm going to reveal to you a simple method to banish panic attacks forever. There is one key factor that makes the difference between those who fully eliminate panic attacks from their lives and those who do not. The key ingredient is not medication, lifestyle changes, relaxation exercises, or outdated anxiety techniques such as deep breathing, positive affirmations, or distraction. The key ingredient is when the individual no longer fears the thought of having a panic attack. To illustrate this, let's look at how an anxious thought develops, and then I will demonstrate how to drastically reduce the intensity of a thought. Say, for example, you are going about your daily business when an anxious thought enters your mind. Whatever the nature of the thought, the pattern that follows is usually quite predictable. The anxious thought flashes briefly in your awareness, and as it does so, you immediately react with fear as you contemplate the thought. The fearful reaction you have to the thought then sends a shock wave through your nervous system. You feel the result of that fear most intensely in your stomach due to the amount of nerve endings located there. Because of the intense bodily reaction to the thought, you then get sucked into examining the anxious thought over and over. The continuous fearful reaction you have to the thought increases the intensity of the experience. The more you react, the stronger the thought rebounds again in your awareness, creating more anxious shock waves throughout your body. This is the typical cycle of anxious thoughts. So how can you banish these unwanted anxious thoughts? Here is an example of how to approach this. Instead of reacting with anxiety to the thought and trying to force that thought out of your mind, now simply say to yourself, "That's a fear of such and such. I could worry and even obsess over it, but this time I'm going to do something different. I'm not going to react to it. I'm also not going to try and stop it either. I'm just going to label the thought and not react." Then the thought comes again with more intensity and possibly with new scary angles you never considered. When this happens, you do exactly the same again. As if you were observing a cloud passing overhead, you simply 1. Observe it. 2. Label it fear of whatever. Then 3. Watch it as it passes by with no judgment. Then 4. Move your attention on to observe, label, watch, and move on. See the anxious thought for what it really is, one of the thousands of fleeting, sane, and insane thoughts every one of us experiences daily. Observe, label, watch, and move on. By practicing this approach, you gradually stop reacting with fear to the thought, and you learn to treat it as nothing more than an odd peculiarity. As with every technique, there is always a level of practice involved in the beginning. Initially, you start observing, but then suddenly get anxious about the fearful thought. That's very normal in the beginning. Keep at it. Practice this, and you will quickly see how less impacting those fearful thoughts become. Do not let your mind trick you into believing that your anxiety is something you will always have to struggle with. That is simply not true. For a more advanced method of eliminating panic attacks, there is also a simple technique known as the one-move technique that has proven highly successful with both long and short-term sufferers of anxiety. I am not only talking about banishing panic attacks, but also getting your general anxiety level right back down to zero without the use of any medication or alternative therapies. You can read more about the technique by clicking on the link to the right of this video.
Oh, good job.